You've touched on it a little bit there, but I mean, if this marketeer joined a business, and this perhaps sort of leads on to some of the stuff you're doing at Founders Factory, what are some of the activities that you would get them to do in the short term, the first few months of a new marketer in a startup then?
Yeah. Um, I think it'll be a balance of some short-term wins versus some long-term strategic bets that they're thinking about, at least, even if they're not deploying on them yet. So probably a founder will have a sense of like what worked for them the first couple of times. What content can we produce on the back of that? What is the message that what do we want to get into some certain channels? Can we try some LinkedIn ads on the back of it?
Mm.
Great. So there will be, so this is that's it. Obviously when I bring in LinkedIn, I'm starting to to show my B2B mindset there,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean, right? Like there's going to be some low hanging fruit that the founder already can bet on. Great, let's build on that, let's optimize it. That should be the first starting point. Then probably also there'll be some, look, our website was done really quickly, it was not really thought through. Let's set about rethinking it. Let's do a bit more work with whatever we're learning as well, to rethink and realign and reposition our website and reposition therefore the our front of store.
Mm.
Website is basically your store offering if you think in a bricks and mortar way.
Mm.
um, and then simultaneously, they'll also be thinking about, well, I'm getting all this data in. I want to have it as well. It's data. It's not necessarily as a trend. It's not necessarily knowledge. It's wisdom. If you think about it, there's that, what's it called? It's called the knowledge triangle. You have to go up the hierarchies of it, right?
Yeah.
There's this random noise coming at you. Some of it becomes useful data. You have to take out the trends and the patterns and then turn it into wisdom. That's the ultimate aim.
Yeah.
Um, so you need someone who's going to be able to structure that, and therefore this person should possibly also be looking at either doing it themselves or starting the process of getting the web analytics, getting the digital signals at least quantified as best as possible, because
Mm.
it's going to be really handy in the future if you have a baseline of, this is what we tried, this is what we achieved then, versus it all being, yeah, we tried this, it was amazingly successful, but we didn't actually even like write up how the outcomes came up, and we didn't like really record that. That
Mm.
is you stabbing yourself in the foot a little bit. You might have achieved great marketing success there, but is it repeatable? Is it going to happen for you next year and the year after? That comes from standardizing and systemizing it. So to answer your question again in a shorter form, maybe some short-term bets, some long-term thinking, which is more for big picture, how we're going to move the needle on the industry and how we're going to find new markets like this, and then a baseline of data aggregation, keeping track of the experiments that needs to all be happening
Yeah.
kind of simultaneously.